Hello, it's me again. So, another topic I wanted to cover that I have been asked about is what to do if an NFP is pulling away from you in some regard. And this could be an ENFP or an INFP. The people that tend to ask me this question are people that probably don't use introverted feeling. So they're like an FETI user, aka an FJ type or a TP type. On occasion, maybe a TJ type. On occasion, maybe an SFP. But for the most part, I would say um, it seems to be like non-NFPs aren't going to probably fixate on this as much, and I could be wrong. So yeah, but regardless of who's asking, I can give just a general sort of perspective on this question. Okay, so basically, I think the main thing to consider if your NFP friend is like pulling away is they kind of know they're a ticking bomb and not really necessarily going to be of value to other people while they're like maybe going through a hard time. Um, and okay, so I guess there's like two instances in which this could happen. Number one, maybe like like this one's more common. They could be going through a huge like kind of life transition, either circumstantially, like maybe they're trying to like change careers, or maybe they're trying to like get over a breakup. Or it could be spiritually, where something is off and they haven't figured out why. They are maybe feeling more down than usual and they just want like that space. In this scenario, um, so the age old advice is to not push them. But I actually want to prescribe a different thing. Is I tend to not feel like the victim of NFPs beginning to pull away from me because I kind of pull away from people myself, but also because I think that when I do approach someone that I've been feeling distant from, I just have such an energy of not taking it personally and just wanting to like send them good vibes, like simply by the power of me caring about them. This like makes them want to come closer. So I actually prescribe that if they are going through something like circumstantially and you've kind of heard already maybe that's not about you or suspected it's not about you, but you still feel there's like a wall up, I would invite you to actually detach from what they're doing and introspect deeper into your own FI, your own introverted feeling. What tends to happen is if I don't feel like I can like just kind of veg and just be emo around certain people without them feeling awkward for me or wanting to like help in a way that's not helpful, I will just straight up avoid them if I'm going through a hard time. Versus I have noticed that like when I am doing the pull away thing, the people that I don't pull away from are just fellow NFPs for the most part. And it's because I feel like they have such an internal grounding in who they are and what they feel. And it's like whatever I freaking do, they're just not going to take it personally at all. There'll just be a, hey, what's up? And if I don't respond, I just feel like there will be no real consequence. Not because I don't care, but because if I'm trying to use all my mental energy to survive, I'm not going to be preoccupied necessarily with wanting to worry about how you're doing. So, this might sound harsh, but we do feel burdened by other people when we're going through a hard time. Now, take your judgment of that as you will. But what I found is the people that aren't NFPs who are able to crack this code are people that have introspected. And when I say introspect, I'm saying specifically focus on a time where you were going through a lot. You didn't feel understood by a lot of people. You didn't have the energy to even explain what you were going through, and you just simply couldn't get around it. If you don't have FI by default, you probably would have a bit of a harder time reaching into that archive, but you're certainly capable of thinking of it. And I think that without being in tune with those uncomfortable feelings, your NFP friend will probably want to avoid you. Like, I'm not saying it's like a you deserve to talk to them or not, or a merit based thing. It's more just like the laws of physics are that when we're going through something, we're like combing through like archives of just emotional information. So we're not going to want to open up to anyone that doesn't have a handle on their own. It's kind of like we are like trying to like breathe for air in our own oxygen mask, and we don't want someone else who doesn't have their oxygen mask on to not do it. And even if you feel like you're pretty securely attached as a person, if you have FE or TI or something, you have to actually be like willing to be like, I relate to your pain. I like, you don't have to do anything. Like, I just want to be here for you. Like, consider the energy of how in tune you are with your own wounds, your own pain before, like if you feel like the distance is like unbearable, honestly, like there could be a chance you could like talk to the NFP, and I can't guarantee what exactly would happen. But I do think that introspection is honestly the first step that's always needed if you want a certain result from an NFP that hasn't already voluntarily given you that or has not seemed to want to open up about it. Yeah, the second option, however, is maybe they've pulled away because they are upset at you and you're noticing they're just like more sullen around you. And the litmus test is if they seem like they've been hanging out with other friends more and just not responded to you. If they seem like they're doing fine or they haven't directly communicated, they're already having a hard time, then maybe they do have like some kind of beef with you that they haven't communicated. And the reason it took me so long to get the second scenario is because the first scenario's advice still applies. It still requires you to introspect on you, not introspecting on the situation or how you and the friend feel, but just simply being prepared, because chances are the NFP might not want to talk things out if they don't sense you're okay with criticism in some way. So, in any case, you always need to introspect in some way if you're taking personally someone's behavior on an FI level. Like, this might sound like a bit of a, like a rule that covers a lot, and I haven't always received the best responses to certain people that, like, are kind of offended that I'm not telling them what to do. I'm instead just telling them to kind of go within, implying that it's their problem. But, like, I'm not saying that NFPs can do no wrong, because I do think it can be shitty to just ghost people no matter how emo they are about it. And for me, I have learned a lot about communicating what's going on with me and still challenging myself to stretch my energy a little bit more. But it took me learning to introspect and trusting that the people that I was letting in were also introspecting and letting them know that this is my standard. And that's how I've been able to meet people in the middle, by not just like going like, commando with things when I'm going through a hard time. But if you watch my previous video on what the point of FI is, you'll know a lot of this is based off of, I think, people underestimate how fragile we feel we are, and we will avoid anything that could potentially threaten that fragility. And we have all this like weird subconscious conviction about it that I am fragile and you can't tell me I'm not. Fuck you for trying to make me bypass. The truth is, we can be delusional about what we are capable of handling. Other people might not actually be the, like inconveniences or hurtful figures that we think they are. But without feeling like other people have like adequately prepared themselves to handle their own shit and our shit, we just don't trust others easily. And I was just thinking of this like concept when I was considering how I hold space for other people. All the time, I have to always ask myself, do I want to be doing this right now? Like, I always give myself the option if someone asks me for help to respectfully decline. And I have respectfully declined, but it's like the more no's I say and the more freedom I feel to not need to do anything, the more I want to. And at the end of the day, you're trying to achieve the NFP wanting to. So you actually have to kind of let go of control first. Law of attraction. Like, you have to like basically be okay with not getting it. And that's why I'm imploring you to introspect, because if you just ask yourself, am I okay with not talking to them for a while? Yes, no. Chances are it's probably no. Therefore, introspecting and understanding what wound is coming up that is your own to bear, like deeply understanding it in an FI way, as opposed to, well, I'm mad because they're not talking to me, or I'm sad they're not talking to me. Go deeper than that and like connect to your own emotional inner stability and such. You can definitely make more videos about this, but again, like just like the previous video, I am like a little talked out, short of getting feedback. So if you are curious about this concept, I'm more than happy to go further into it. Feel free to comment below. Yeah, hope this was helpful. And as always, you can book a call with me if you have more questions. Thank you.